Hello, everybody. My name is Cerberus. I'm here with Jeppz and MeanSpeed, and today we're going to be talking a bit about Renegade Line. Now, we don't know how long this video will actually take because we're just going to be giving our thoughts and talking about the gameplay that was released. There will be a lot of ums in between who will probably interrupt each other multiple times. So, yeah, don't expect a super professional sounding video.
Yeah,
And
very
this
true.
is where we, I guess, say hi. Hi, I'm Jeppz.
Hello, I'm MeanSpeed. Okay,
And yeah,
I'm
that's
glad we
I
got the
mean,
introductions nailed. We did that
yeah.
perfectly, so that's
yeah.
one good thing. So the gameplay video. Do you want to go from the first bit we see, or what? You can do what you want, but I was going to make a point
Yeah.
about. I think all of us would say that most of it. I mean, I personally thought that it was just going to be a free cam video showing the map.
Yeah.
Because that was for a good half of the video, if not more than that.
Yeah, because when I
It's a
saw
little
it,
bit more.
like first, I was like, "Oh no, please don't tell me it's just gonna be free cam." But then I saw the gameplay and I was relieved because I was getting really scared.
Yeah.
One thing I found very strange that they didn't do was they never jumped, which is kind of
Yeah,
weird to point out, but...
Um,
Or maybe they did, actually. Maybe when he capped the flag, whatever.
no, I don't think they did. But the thing is, um, I don't know. Maybe they haven't actually put that in place yet, or it just looks a bit odd. I mean, some people have already mentioned the movement looks a bit strange. What do you think about that?
well, um, my biggest problem really is with the guy just walking the walking animations because it seems really choppy and unnatural. Like
Yeah.
his upper body doesn't move at all. I think a good example for this, which I also mentioned in my comment that I posted on the video,
Mhm.
was, or rather, a way to do it properly was like in Star Wars Battlefront. Obviously, that's a really expensive game, and I don't expect it to look like it exactly. But what
Yes.
you really notice if you play in third person is if you move left, your character kind of leans to the left, and if you move right, he kind of leans to the right.
Yeah.
And if you walk backwards, he kind of straightens his back. And I think that really, it looks really natural and real in my opinion.
Well,
And
I was going to say that it looks better than the running animation they showed because obviously the character actually has clothes on now, so it looks a bit better.
yeah.
But I mean, it still looks a bit strange, like you said.
Well, the thing is, in a way, it does look. He holds his gun really low, and I think that looks. It just looks a little weird in combination with the running animation. Because if you look at the lasers, for example, he was really the character was really holding it on the side, and he was kind of like dragging it along. And this guy just looks like he is fucking Rambo and just walks straight, like unnaturally straight while holding that
Mm.
thing, and like right
Yeah.
in front of him almost.
Even while he's shooting, he
Yeah.
stays completely still. It's like he's a toy soldier
Yeah.
when he's
Yeah.
shooting.
Yeah, he looks like a toy, really.
Yeah, that's the thing that I was gonna say.
Yeah.
And it's even in like the bones a little, where he kind of looks like, I don't know if it's just the character model or really just the animations, but yeah, in a lot of ways he does look like a toy.
Yeah.
Which I'm
Go
no,
ahead.
go ahead. No, you just
Okay.
go ahead.
We're both being so polite there. I was going to say about the shooting animation. I don't know if they were jerking the mouse around when shooting or if that's going to be like the recoil of the gun. Did you notice that? Because they did it twice and it was the same sort of result.
Yeah, I don't think there's any
I'm sorry.
coil at all. I didn't
I don't
notice
really
it.
mind recoil. It could just be a little bit like in Dirty Bomb. What I didn't like was when he fired the shot at like the second board and he missed because of the weapon spread.
Yeah.
That kind of got me worried that the game will, like similar to Battlefield Heroes, have like this really huge random spread for a lot of weapons. And
Mhm.
I think that doesn't really hold a place in a game that wants to be competitive.
Right.
Because if you look at Dirty Bomb, the thing is characters do move very fast, unlike in this game,
Yeah.
at least what we see right now.
Mhm.
But as characters move really fast, weapons are really, really accurate, but they fire slow and do low damage. So the game really rewards you for being accurate.
Mm.
And here it's just kind of like an RNG number
Yeah.
that kind of dictates whether you are or not going to hit someone. And
Yeah.
I think that's just not. I mean, it's okay in a casual game like it was in Battlefield Heroes, but I don't see it. I don't think it has a place in a competitive game, and they want Renegade Line to be competitive. They've said it themselves.
Yeah. Then again, it just might be that specific gun that he's using. It is a machine gun,
Yeah.
after all.
I thought it was a
Yeah.
shotgun at first, but then I realised.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's in the lower right corner.
Do
You can
we
see.
do we want to make a point about the damage? Because I thought maybe that they just hadn't finalised the numbers, but it's
Yeah, I
it's
don't think that's final.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it was quite inconsistent, but in a way, I guess it's meant to be a close to like medium range weapon, because it did like about 6 damage from quite far away and like 10 and 8 from closer, but it was shooting
Yeah.
pretty quickly for that damage, and you compare that to the health that the character had. It seems like they haven't
Yeah.
really finished this whole balancing and stat based thing at the moment. So
Yeah, but you know, if you think about it, um, you know, with that damage, I think the damage, at least if those damages are like consistent, so it's 10 close, 8 medium, 6
mhm,
from long range, I think that would really be fine because, but I think the character should move a little bit faster to compensate
okay,
because what Battlefield Heroes had was a really high time to kill and a really slow movement speed, and that kind of works. It's kind of like a reverse Counter Strike almost, or a reverse Dirty Bomb in a way, because you move really slow, so it allows you um, to like react, but it doesn't make it really hard to hit someone like multiple times.
right,
So it's like,
One thing I was gonna say about the movement
yeah.
is that I guess we can guess that this is the tank class because he has the big weapons and the
yeah.
big guns.
Yes.
Well, he's walking really fast for being a tank, I feel. And I guess that's not finalized either, but
Well,
Yeah, I didn't really think about that. I thought that the movement speed was quite slow, fast, sorry, but I actually didn't think ahead and think maybe that class is supposed to be the heavier one. So yeah, it is a bit too fast for,
well,
you know.
the
Yeah.
thing is, it kind of depends on the speed of the other class, and looking at its health and looking at the damage guns do, it seems to like they kind of try to like give him a little bit less health
Yeah.
but higher movement speed.
Mhm.
And I think that if they really wanted it to be a tank and they intend on this game to be have a slow movement speed, then they should really lower the movement speed and higher the health, like you said, because yeah, right now it does look like tanky relative to other classes,
Mhm.
but they kind of like I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's like it's either high health or high movement speed. It's like one of the two. It's in TF2. It was in Battlefield Heroes. It's in Dirty Bomb, and it seems to be in this game. But this time they seem to be a little more movement speed
Yeah.
oriented, basically,
yeah.
even with the tank.
Um, do you want to? Oh, I was going to mention something about the map. I mean, we don't have to do this in a particular order. What do you?
I have one thing that I wanted to say first
Yeah.
about the map overall,
Yeah, sure.
because Cerberus, he went on for quite a while there, but I said before we started recording that I didn't analyze a lot, but I did do one thing, and that was that I did a side-by-side comparison of the overview shots of the map,
Okay.
because they posted those pictures a week ago
Yes.
when they announced that they were gonna put up the gameplay.
Yep.
So I looked at the things they had actually changed, and they had put little props, like the crops themselves and the barrels and boxes here and there.
Yeah.
They changed the water a bit, and the ground itself has changed color to beige,
Okay.
because it looks like in the picture it looks like you're walking on a path of shit,
Yeah.
really. And I think someone commented that.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't surprise me that someone would say that, but yeah.
No, in this community.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's for another video. Yeah, I didn't notice that, to be honest. I should have done a comparison. But what do you think of the map in general, like the size of it and stuff at this current point?
The thing is, it looks like a bit of a seaside skirmish with more hills,
Coastal
I guess.
Flash.
Yeah,
it
it's a
looks
bit
like
of
a mix of them.
yeah, it's like a bit more cliffs and a bit more wally, I guess.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't really be a problem if like the movement speed wouldn't be too slow. and you would have like higher player counts than in Battlefield Heroes. Because the problem with Seaside Skirmish was that it was well, it was a fun map. If it could have been a fun map if it basically allowed more players
Yeah,
and had a bit more cover, because it was really just a sniper heaven.
Yeah.
Especially with the slow movement speed. I mean, if you're a gunner, even with Leggett, you're really easy to hit with the already really OP snipers.
Well,
yeah.
you mentioned Seaside Skirmish. That was a vehicle map. What do you think of this? Do you think any vehicles would fit well into it? Because I think it's too small for maybe a plane type thing, but maybe a
Yeah,
car or something would fit perfectly.
I don't
Yeah, I
think
think it's
something
just
like
gonna be a car.
tanks. Yeah, I think it will be good for cars because like the roads aren't they aren't really suited for like tank battles, I think,
No, and
but they are fine like on cars. Yeah, because otherwise transport would obviously take a really long time looking at the movement speed.
yeah. Um,
I have one thing to say as well here.
yeah, go ahead.
It's if we think about all the maps in Battlefield Heroes, they all had some like defining building. Like if you think about Sunset Showdown, you think of the church in the middle, and the same with Victory Village.
Yeah.
I don't see any like defining feature on this map except for like the waterfall.
I was gonna
I
say,
would like some
yeah,
big structure like that.
yeah, that would be good. Maybe the waterfall might have been what they were going for there, or maybe they haven't thought that far ahead yet. But yeah,
That's my guess.
yeah. Well, I had a point that maybe, I mean, this is a bit out there, but maybe this isn't like the full map. I mean, obviously they're going to add more stuff to what we've seen, but I mean in terms of the space, I think possibly there's more to it, and they're just showing a certain area, and they wanted to make it that big. But maybe not, because obviously they showed 4 flags across the whole thing. So
Yes.
any more than that would be pretty intense, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, now that I'm looking at the map again, it kind of, in a really weird way, reminds me of the jungle map in the Battlefield 4 CTE, the community map that's being made,
Right.
because that's also like in a valley structure. Like there's cliffs all around the map, and there's
It's like
like
a
a water.
peninsula.
Yeah, and there's like a waterfall too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's like it's obviously much more barren, and it's like it's not in a jungle. It's more of a farmland.
Okay.
But what they had in that map was like a big Chinese temple or like an Asian temple. Obviously, it isn't really appropriate, but I think a church would really just be a good addition to this map.
I
Like a
think
few more houses, like maybe like bit in the center of the map, have like a little town with a church.
I think there should be a barn actually.
Yeah, that would be cool too. Actually, really.
It would fit the theme more of being a little farmland. I would call this map something with village in it because it's a very, very small village.
Here's a question
That's
for
what
you
it is.
guys. Do you think they will at some point allow us to enter buildings?
No.
No.
Or maybe on certain maps, not
Okay.
these
Maybe like
buildings.
some buildings, like in most multiplayer shooters, it's already like that. Where in some Call of Duty maps, you can enter like this or that house, but you can't enter that other building next to it. Basically,
Okay. Um, do you mind right now? Because if I brought up a few things last night. I made up a few things about the video. If I say a few things and you just respond to them, what you think, if you agree, stuff like that.
no, let's just do that. I mean, it's practically what we're doing right now, and it
Yeah,
seems
I
to.
know. I'm just trying to take control of it. That's all. Right. So, talking about the flags, first of all, I personally thought that the flagpole was quite short,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
maybe if they're going to do what BFH did, which was have the flags raised quicker depending on how many people are around it, it would mean that you can raise flags pretty quickly, which would make quite a big impact on the gameplay if there's an advantage to having a certain amount of flags. So I think maybe they could make the flag process a bit slower, or by either making the flag larger so there's more to capture, or just decrease the time in general.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a
So
lot of tickets, so if we imagine that it'll be like in BFH where you have one more point captured, you'll get one more point for every ticket that you kill.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I guess that's sort of the idea there, because there are so many tickets, but
Or they're
Yeah.
possibly gonna have a lot more players in the game, maybe. Because 8v8 isn't really a lot, let's be honest. So, yeah, I'd like to see a lot more players to enter the game.
And 8v8 would be good for small deathmatch maps. It wouldn't be good for a map like this, I think, where it looks like more of a conquest deathmatch, I guess. That was basically what Battlefield Heroes Conquest was.
Yeah.
I think you should be able to, because I wanted to talk about this. I have it as one of my topics in my notepad folder.
Oh, okay.
My notepad document.
Yeah.
But I'll just touch on this now that you should be able to, as an admin, decide how many people you allow between 16 player and 24.
Okay.
I think we should have a bit less, like, if you really want to do 5v5, for example, I think that should be an option. But, like, up to 24, I think 24 is
the maximum.
is a good max, yeah.
Yeah, it's
like
a bit crazy.
In TF2, the maximum is 32, I believe, and that's very chaotic on all the maps.
That's
even
a
on
lot.
orange.
Too much.
Yeah,
really.
there's people everywhere, and the typical is 24, and
well,
then
the thing is,
I think is
that's
18.
actually something Battlefield 4 gets a lot of criticism for, is because it does allow 64 player, and on some maps that's perfectly fine, but there's also a lot of maps where, 64 player is just a fucking hell. Like, look at Operation Metro. It's terrible if you try to play it with 64 players. It's not great with 32 players, but at least it's, like, playable.
Yeah.
But in 64, it's just pure chaos, and I think would be nice to see, like, have certain maps have like a max amount of players. So if you have like the largest map in the game could have 32 max, while the smallest map in the game could only have, I don't know, 6v6 max or something.
Okay.
That would be really small.
Going back to the flags, I was going to mention another thing. Would you agree in me saying this, where I say the flags are quite close to each other, on the map? Do you think so, or?
I think it's kind of rectangular. Like, some sides are longer than others.
Yeah.
Or prism.
Well, it's kind of hard to see where the other flags really are, but they really don't seem too far away.
Yeah. Because if they're gonna do like spawn points based on flags and such, that could be pretty terrible if you spawn so close to someone else.
It could also, like, if you have like a vantage point, because some flags seem to be placed higher than others, you can just, and I mean the flags aren't, none of them are really like in a corner. They're all kind of in the middle of the map, which means that somebody can just go on the side of the map, get a sniper, and just take everyone out basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What else was I going to say? One more point about the flags actually, which will move us nicely onto something else. I don't know if you saw in the video, but as soon as the flag is captured, the experience bar in the top left actually goes across a bit. So we can assume that you get experience based on capping a flag. Not during the process, it actually only went across when he actually fully captured it. But yeah, I think he was level 7 in the video.
Yeah.
And it didn't go up by a lot. So they actually, I think they confirmed it a while ago. The max level is going to be 100. So I think
they said that at some point.
Yeah, so I think to make the game less grindy, you're obviously maybe, hopefully going to get more experience based on, objectives and kills and such, like, stuff like that.
Missions.
Yeah, because the flag experience was quite terrible, to be honest, but I did notice that that's one thing in terms of leveling, and maybe you want to talk about that.
Actually, while he was raising it, I'm looking at it now, and while he was raising it, the XP is going up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Forget.
When he first gets to it, it goes up a little bit.
And then in the middle he gets up a bit, and then again, and.
All right, that's just me being blind then. Just forget the last minute or so of what I said. Apart from the fact that it didn't go up by a lot, let's be honest. And level 7 isn't a high level.
But the thing is, if you make levels more like a visual feature, there's no problem in them taking a long time to level up. Because the problem I had with Battlefield Heroes was it took really long to level, and that would be fine if the levels didn't really mean anything aside from, hey, look at me, I'm level 30, I'm so cool.
Yeah.
But in Battlefield Heroes, it really just meant, oh, you get more ability points, you are more overpowered than your enemy just because you played more.
Yes.
And that's where it becomes a problem, especially if it's as grindy as it is.
Yeah, you and I spoke about that a long time ago.
Yeah.
About if they should have all the abilities.
You should be
in the
able
beginning.
to. You should be able to, like, if you don't get them all in the beginning, I wouldn't really mind, but you should be able to have all the abilities unlocked, or like have everything in like max 10 hours of gameplay, I guess. 10, 20 hours.
Yeah. Actually, one more thing about the flags. What did you think? Yeah, this is the last point on it, by the way. I know it's maybe quite. I've overdone
About
this a
these
bit.
flags.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you think of the sound? I thought it was a bit too loud.
It was very loud.
Yeah, overall, I think the sound in the game in general is fine.
Yeah.
The guns sounded nice. They had a nice echo to them. The footsteps were a little weird, but that wasn't anything too bad. But the flag was really just, it was really sudden, and it was really just too loud. It was like, that was it. Just ended out of nowhere.
It's like in all the Christopher Nolan movies when
Yeah,
it suddenly goes.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a fucking jump scare or anything. It's quite frankly, it's scarier than most horror games.
I mean, in BFH, you had that nice theme tune as you were capturing a flag.
Yeah.
This is quite bland. I mean, maybe they'll add music in the future, but yeah, it was quite sudden and very loud. I don't know if they messed up with the audio on that part of the video, or if actually it is meant to be that loud for some reason.
It's like a
think,
really loud thing.
So what I actually think is that they have the sound to its maximum because the footsteps are very loud as well.
Yeah.
I guess that if I were to play this game, I would have the sound at like 30%, so it wouldn't be super loud.
But
so I actually think it's...
The thing is that I don't know if it's just me, but the flag capturing sound seemed louder than like the guns.
Yeah.
But I mean, what made me think like the loud footsteps? It made me think that the game could be kind of dependent on sound, like a lot of competitive games like Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that though, but it could be.
I don't think it will be dependent on sound actually.
Okay.
Considering the rather low movement speed, yeah, I don't know. I don't really see how those two would like work together, anyways. Because, yeah,
all right.
I don't know.
We can move away from this topic now. Flags are too much. The map again. I noticed. Now I don't know if either of you noticed this. I mean, Jeppz, you said you looked at the map pictures they showed and compared to the what they showed in the video. But I noticed there was a certain point where they showed a bridge with lampposts and sandbags. It was actually showed in an image back in March that they posted, and that's on the map. So that map object has been around for a while, and it's nice to see them actually using it. Just thought I'd point that out.
That it's I don't get really why is that worth pointing out.
Oh no, just something I noticed to try and pick out things from the video. That's all. Let's see. Have any of you guys got something? I'm not done yet, but
I have something to point out, and that's not about that, but it's about the minimap itself.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a minimap, but I would like it to be a little bit smaller, kind of.
Yeah. I think your HUD should just be adjustable.
Yeah,
you can change the places and the sizes of everything.
I would like to have it be transparent, personally.
Have it be customizable, basically.
Yeah.
There's also something I want to say about the character again, and just in aiming in general. If you don't mind, at least, because we're going back all the way to the beginning with that, basically.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we're all over
so, what I noticed was, like in Battlefield Heroes, the camera was right behind your character, but in most third-person shooters, it's generally over the shoulder, like in Metal Gear Solid 5, and in it's in Mass Effect 2, it's like over the shoulder. And you can change between left and right in Metal Gear. By pressing V, you just look from the right or the left. And the thing is, with zooming in, you don't really go ADS unless you press F as well. But you just, your crosshair gets smaller,
Yeah.
and you zoom in more basically. I think that'll be fine, really. But I think it should just be, you should be able to like choose to over which shoulder to view instead of just the middle. And I don't know, I might get a lot of shit for this, but I think the character should be able to actually sprint
Yeah.
because
Oh yeah, we spoke about this.
um, even with like what I said about the tank having like rather low health and relatively fast movement speed, looking at least comparing it to Battlefield Heroes, I think that a higher movement speed would be better for the game,
Okay.
and I think sprinting would only add to that by not allowing people to shoot basically, but making people even faster.
Okay.
Instead of like an ability that's just, oh hey, you can run fast now
Yeah.
and still shoot, because Legate was kind of overpowered in a way.
Yeah.
Because if you were fighting anybody with slow firing weapons from a rather close range, you would win
Yeah.
Well, let's
basically.
be honest. All of the abilities in BFH, none of them hindered you in any way. They were straight upgrades.
Yeah,
Nothing. It wasn't like you get this, but this decreases and such. It was just a straight up, instant positive. So yeah. We can actually move on to the skills if you want.
yeah.
Because they showed at the very bottom of the screen, we could see 3 icons. The other ones have padlocks, which implies that you unlock them as you level up, maybe. Because it seems like they're in a certain order. Maybe I'm wrong, and they're just assigned to a certain part. I don't know, but yeah, that's what I got from that. And based on the pictures, I mean, you can tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I said if we're going from left to right, there's one that looked like basically mark target, like you could mark an enemy just to target them for your team.
That would
Um,
be. I think that would be more of a spotter
yeah,
thing. I mean, he's called spotter, so
exactly.
it
Yeah.
might just be something completely different.
Yeah, the next one across, the one in the middle of the 3, looks like a skill that might cause an enemy to bleed or do some sort of damage over time, because the
Yeah.
picture just kind of looks like it to me anyway.
It also looks a little bit like a. I think the second and third actually do kind of look like a combination or like a split frenzy fire,
Right.
because the one on the right seems to, when you shoot people you heal,
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. Yeah.
and the one on the left seems like you are more accurate and can make like enemies bleed or something,
Yeah.
or because you have the crosshair in the middle, and I don't know whether those are blood drops or like bullets,
Mm.
but they seem, if they are bullets, they seem to be kind of going towards the middle of the crosshair. So I could think it could be like an accuracy increase or something.
What I had guessed before you said the bleeding thing, because now I think it's that, but before that I thought that it had to do with the minimap,
Oh,
that
okay.
you would see enemies on the minimap, but that would be kind of pointless since you have a pretty good field of view overall
Yeah.
otherwise.
Well, yeah. Talking about the view, Cerberus, you mentioned the well, you mentioned the view in general, but did you notice there was a point where the person was capping the flag, and they did like a
Yeah,
360 spin around?
yeah,
Now
that's
Yeah.
that
good.
looks pretty helpful, but I'm not sure if that's just the general thing when you try and look behind you, like the BFH equivalent of a face cam, or if it's just something you can do when you're just standing still.
Well, it's a Warframe, and you turn around as long as you have like your gun up, and after like 5 or 6 seconds, he just, or not, like more like 2 to 3 seconds, he just pulls his gun down, and you can look around you without your character like actually moving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it's it's a Metal Gear 2 when you don't have your weapons on, and you have to be zoomed in to like shoot, to have your weapons out. You can just look behind you and stuff.
yeah.
You don't have to face your character doesn't face a certain way along with it.
Mhm.
So I think it might be like that, where it just automatically, you don't see the enemy, you don't see him like lower his gun or anything, but he just automatically goes into like a I guess free mode.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Um, Talking about the guns, I mentioned obviously I mistook the machine gun. And they showed the RPG as well. We can move on to that in a little bit, but they didn't show what I assume is a shotgun, do you think?
Yeah, it's probably a shotgun.
Which,
it looks like
yeah,
that's the pump.
yeah, which makes me think that maybe that's not finished yet, because why else would they have it on the bar and not show it off? And the same for the skills. I mean, why wouldn't they show them off if they're already there in the video? So maybe they just got the icons ready for those, and they haven't got them, you know, properly working yet. Not sure.
Yeah. I mean, I could imagine that a shotgun would be one of the harder weapons to program because it basically shoots multiple shots in one shot, basically.
Yeah.
So, and like with the spread. Well, the thing is, um, you know, I found the Lewis gun, the machine gun, to have like a lot of ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 520, I don't think you'll ever, unless you're like really good and you don't have any teammates or something around you that resupply ammo, you probably won't ever run out of ammo.
Yeah, that's what I told you yesterday.
And then yeah, and that's what I think I talked about this with you too, Jack. But I'm not sure. But I think it's really stupid to have like limited ammo, but then just have it be so much that it doesn't really matter anymore.
Right.
Because if you look, I mean, in Counter-Strike, it's not that much, except with some weapons like the CC, where you just have 2 magazines, and with the M4A1. But in Dirty Bomb, you don't get a lot of ammo. You can get more by getting resupplies from other classes, which of course encourages team play, like I said in my comment and talked about with you, Jeppz.
Yeah.
And you know, it makes you really think about how to use your ammo because your bullets do really low damage. So it's not like, oh, I can just shoot this guy for 10 minutes and I won't even run out of ammo.
Yeah.
And that's it. Does I think it should be a little bit more punishing for like missing your bullets because one, the guns don't have recoil. At least this gun doesn't. It doesn't really seem to have recoil.
Mm-hmm.
And if it does, it's probably pretty low.
Yeah.
It seemed to fire pretty fast as well.
Yeah. And in combination
we
with
didn't
the
see a
damage.
reload. Yeah, we didn't see a reload. So it's like if you miss 10 bullets, it doesn't really matter. But just you miss 10 bullets, and that's shitty, of course, because the enemy has an advantage. But it doesn't really matter in that if you win the fight, you might want to go back to your team and resupply or take time to resupply, basically.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh, it doesn't really matter that I just missed. Sure, I took some extra damage, but I still won, and I can just walk on further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeppz, did you have anything to say about the weapon or the weapons?
No, it's more so the whole ammo issue that I actually would like to have as like a separate topic in this video because it's such a massive thing in the community apparently that we should have no ammo, which, as Cerberus just said, you will most likely, if you're a decent player, not use up all your ammo,
Exactly.
especially with that Lewis gun in one
Yeah.
life. Like, when I played a gunner, I can imagine that I could do that because I was actually pretty good, if I say so myself.
Yeah. Well, we're assuming that obviously you do get all your ammo back when you die. I mean, when you respawn. Hopefully that.
Yes.
I mean, that might sound a bit stupid, but I mean, you know, they didn't specify that, but yeah. Yeah.
And most likely your opponent will drop a ammo pack.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as long as you get kills, you get ammo. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. Well, they had, like I said, 3 weapons there. Didn't show the shotgun, but they did show the RPG. Now,
Did they shoot it? Or?
no, I was
No,
going to make
they
a point
didn't.
about that. They didn't show off any shooting whatsoever, and obviously what most of the community were looking forward to seeing, rocket jumping, obviously, which makes me think that maybe that's unfinished as well, and they just, you know...
Well, it's probably because I don't know, but the Lewis guns seem to be hit registration, so it's just like an instant bullet, like in Call of Duty. But the rocket seems to be like an actual like object, which has travel time and probably drops up as well, like it was in Battlefield Heroes.
Yeah.
Which means it'll take time to like implement because it's just not one straight laser basically that just miles through everything.
What did you think about the? I mean, I thought the RPG looked pretty small, to be honest. Did you think so?
The RPG. Yeah.
I mean, the machine gun didn't look too large either. I mean, maybe the
Yeah,
guy's just, maybe he's just a really big guy.
Yeah, he's a
You
giant.
can't even see the Lewis gun.
Yeah, I know. We could see it slightly when they did the 360 view, but
Yeah.
I guess that's also what made me not realize it was a machine gun at the time, because I didn't actually look at the icon to start with, and I think the first few shots they fired in like single bursts, so it made it look like, a normal shotgun. But yeah. What do you think about how the weapons look, like the theme or the style of them?
I don't mind the style. I think they'll look fine, but it's just the way he holds the machine gun is weird.
Actually,
I mean,
kinda.
you can even see like the back of the gun. You can see it like clipping into his side a little
Right.
if you look closely.
Yeah.
And the thing with the RPG is that it also it looks like it's sort of balancing on his shoulder,
Yeah.
not so much standing there steadily, like it's waving kind of when he's walking.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess that's unfinished, like everything else we talk about in this video.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like.
I think Jeppz is what. Sorry, but I think Jeppz is wanting to rant about stuff now.
Nah, I can hold my rants at bay.
I mean, do we really have anything left besides rants? I mean,
I have
do we?
a bunch of topics
Yeah.
that we can all talk about. It's not just my rants.
Yeah,
So
sure. I was
do
gonna
you feel that you're
say.
done?
Sorry. Actually, hold on. I'm trying to think now, because Cerberus said something. Oh man. It was something.
Sorry,
No, it's all right. It's all right. It was something to do with the RPG, I think. Yeah, it doesn't look as as powerful as it could be. Because of the size to me. I just think if it was bigger, it would look more intimidating and powerful.
Right, like the one rocket the Royals had with the punk heroes. That one looked really cool.
Yeah.
It was like really large.
Yeah.
And looked fucking badass.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, should I try and pick out another topic of mine, and then we can move on to yours, Jeppz, or?
How many topics do you have?
Well, they're not really as much topics as a few small comments I made, so I guess not that many, to be honest. Let's see.
Because if you remember, I told you that I had 10 topics.
Yes.
But then yesterday, after you said maybe they're redundant now because it's been like 3 months since we planned this video to begin with, and I condensed them down to 5
Okay.
with little smaller things to comment on.
Okay, that's good.
If you feel that you want to talk about your things first, then that's fine.
I only have a few, but it depends how much conversation we get out of them, really. The crosshair.
What I believe, actually.
Sorry,
I think that we're gonna have multiple videos of this at this point, not like stop this video, but that we'll cut it in middle because we've already gone for like
30
half
minutes. Yeah, over 30 minutes. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, we've all got loads of different ideas, and even if they're not, I mean, even if they're not all relevant to the gameplay, we can still cover a few here. But I mean, if you want, we could do, a second discussion video with stuff that, might not be relevant to what they showed, but still important for the future. Maybe.
Well, the thing is, some of the things, I think Jeppz would, and of course, I'm not 100% sure of this. So, like, if I'm saying stupid shit right now, just say so. But I think Jeppz has some things to say about the community that I really, personally at least, do have to say.
Okay.
I think they could be a separate video,
Yes,
of course.
yeah,
But I don't think it would be in a way that it's like a like still important to the game itself, because it's more a community issue than it is a game issue.
We should definitely do that for a separate video. It seems I don't know, slightly off topic in a way. I don't know.
And
Sorry.
I'm really passionate about that also.
I know,
because
yeah.
Same.
I'm
exactly the same.
I can say that beforehand now, and I haven't said it in a different video yet, but I am going to be one of the community moderators.
Yes.
Of Renegade Line. You guys know that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I didn't.
I'm like,
but okay, that's good to hear.
What?
Well,
You didn't know
I'm
that?
balls deep into the community. I think I told you.
Mm,
balls deep in
I have
between
shitty
what I'm saying.
memory, so
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
because they noticed that you were replying to a lot of people in obviously a very professional manner. So I guess
Yes.
that's why they offered it to you, and it's a good, it's a great thing.
And I'm pretty sure that Ice Scratch is also subscribed to my channel, so
That's definitely a good thing as well.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was gonna say about moving back into the video now. Well, as if we went away from it. What do you think of the crosshair?
it's too large.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
that.
Um,
think I think
especially
one
with
word can sum it up, and that's we should be able to customize it as we want.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
that's really important because again, Renegade Line wants to be competitive. They've said it themselves, and this is a crosshair that's too large to be competitive because you can't really aim with it because it's so large and longer ranges. You just don't really know where to shoot
yeah,
because it could be anywhere inside that circle. And looking at the weapons thread, it might even go outside the crosshair, anyways. I mean, even in Battlefield Heroes, you could say that, oh, well, the crosshairs are big there too, and I never had a problem hitting people at long range. Well, the thing is, at least they had like a middle point. Like the SMGs had like this clear, defined point in the middle,
yeah.
and every crosshair did basically,
Well, to be
except
honest,
for
the only
machine
real
guns.
precise, aiming crosshair that the weapons had, the only weapon that really did that well was the Warfighter, because that was just a red dot, and it was more precise,
Right.
as opposed to this large, circle or whatever.
So it looked ugly, in my
Yeah.
opinion. It looked a little meh.
Well, I did write down in my notepad that maybe the crosshair size and how it looks will change depending on the weapon you have. Like BFH did, obviously, the pistol was like a different, like kind of like a line with a bit above it, and the
I would
shot.
almost say that that was the best actually because
Yeah.
it wasn't very obtrusive unless you were.
Yeah.
Oh, now a dog's
Oh,
barking.
oh no, the dog. Video's ruined.
I guess I'll pick him up.
Anyway,
Now he's. Keep talking.
yeah, What was I going to say? Yeah, the shotgun was, the shotgun crosshair was quite large. So
Don't
yeah,
see the shotgun.
can any
He
of
means in
you
BFH.
Can any of you remember? Because I don't have the actual. Hold on, let me just find the video. Actually, here it is. When he brought out the RPG, the crosshair was the same, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. So
No, it's
maybe.
a little more blocky, right?
Yeah, it's a block with a little,
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
little
yeah.
tease in it.
Oh no, I actually got to the point in the video at the exact wrong time. It was when he was switching from that back to the machine gun. So yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. What do we think about the clothing itself that the hero or character, whatever, is wearing?
I
Extremely basic and
Yeah.
yeah.
average.
I would have wanted him to at least have a little bit because now he's just like he looks like he just woke up.
Um.
And I mean I don't expect something fucking crazy like stuff you would see in Battlefield Heroes by those level 30 too cool for you artists, but
Yeah.
who spend $2,000 an hour on the game, but at least like an actual have it be like an actual armor or something or like combat gear, something he could fight in and would not die instantly of because of embarrassment.
Well, my
Yeah.
theory was that you said obviously that the clothing looks bland. This is possibly, well, this is my theory, the default clothing for this character.
I wouldn't
Um.
like that personally.
Well, yeah. I
I would
mean,
like it if it was just the uniform as it was in Battlefield Heroes, because that's like
Oh my
a
god.
recruit, and it's just
yeah,
the uniform they were given when they joined the army.
yeah.
I'm actually playing Mario Kart right as we speak.
Oh, really?
But yeah,
Professional.
like seriously, the second a blue shell comes, I get a music box and I fucking block it like at the last second.
Yeah, shout out
That's
to anyone
beautiful.
else who plays Mario, obviously.
Cool.
Yeah, okay, the last thing I was going to say, I thought we'd maybe talk more about the clothing, actually. What do you think about the face, the details on the face itself of the character?
I did not really look at its face, but I guess
His face looked fine. I think I like the beard.
Yeah.
It looked like a little like the tier 1
Yes,
stuff,
the national,
like the national
yeah,
beard.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the
So
detail is
it
pretty
looked
good
nice.
for, well, okay, Alpha, first of all, is quite a low stage, pre as in before, and then early as well. They put all of that into the title. So this is incredibly, first stages. So I think the actual how the character looks is actually pretty decent. Considering the state of development they consider to be in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what else was
But
there.
the thing is, I wouldn't like. Oh my god, another blue shell. The thing is, with the I don't mind him like them using the default uniform, but I don't think that would fit as a default uniform because
Yeah.
I mean they're called residents and Wiccans, and I don't expect them to have to be like decked out in full on military gear like they kind of wear in Battlefield Heroes because they were technically wearing like uh military fatigues, I guess.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's just underwear, and I would at least like it to be like maybe a shirt and like actual proper long pants and like shoes and like maybe a watch or like gloves or something. Just
Yeah.
it doesn't even have to look. It could look as bad as some of the terrorists in Counter Strike. Like it could look as basic as that, but it would be better than just underwear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeppz, did you have anything else to say about the clothing? I'll try and wrap this up pretty quickly so we can move on to yours. But I was going to say, do you think they will possibly allow us to have animated clothing items in the game? Maybe?
You mean things that move?
Yeah, and things that maybe
on the
sparkle or change
Like-
color and stuff, as you
Or
play.
like maybe I don't fucking know a dog that's on fire and sits on your lap.
Yeah.
It's really ridiculous.
Well, in
Dog
BF,
that's on fire.
Yeah, like fire effects and stuff. Like you have,
Yeah.
I mean, it's in tons of games now. Like in RuneScape, for
Yeah.
example, where you have this fiery skull, and it replaces your headgear with this skull that's like on fire.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, because in BFH, I realized that the developers were actually going to make the shoulder pets into proper pets that moved around and followed you, but they didn't really have like the proper technology at the time and software according to them. But I mean the engine was pretty old.
Well,
But do you think
yeah,
Renegade
I think
Line
I
could
was
do
about
that?
to say.
Sorry, what was that?
No, I was just saying like I thought it was about the engine, and that would be the reason why they wouldn't do it. But
Yeah.
then you said that right after I was about to say that.
So
But
they could
the thing
possibly
is,
do that in this game.
yeah, well, yeah, eventually, but I don't think it should be something that if they plan on doing it, it should be very far down the line
Oh yeah,
because,
definitely.
like I also said in my comment, Raw Vengeance doesn't seem to have any kind of portfolio. They don't seem like the most experienced of developers. Of course, no offense to them, but
No, that's not offensive. That's just saying.
yeah, well, some people will consider it offensive. So
Well, those people are idiots.
Well, yeah, but they don't care. They're gonna say to him, "Fuck you for having an opinion."
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah.
either way, I think it's like a little advanced still to do.
Yeah,
like,
it's definitely not
articles
something they should
on
prioritize.
customization.
I'm just thinking because of the
Yeah,
engine
I
they're
don't
using.
mind it being there, but if it's not there, I wouldn't mind either.
Yeah,
Like it would be cool, but it's not something
yeah.
I would blame them for not putting into the game.
All right. Okay, and the last thing I have to say before we move on to your topics, Jeppz, what do you think of the zooming in with the weapons or scoping? What do you think of that?
Do you mean when he actually zooms in the video?
Yes, with the
Like-
machine gun.
It seemed kind of unnecessary. I felt like
I personally don't mind it. I think it should actually be worked on more, where it's like your crosshair gets tighter or something. Like I said before, it's in Metal Gear 2, where if you zoom in, you don't really aim down the sights,
Yeah,
but rather you like zoom in. Goes closer to your character. You move a little slower, but you're more accurate when shooting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think
that way it could work.
yeah. I think we've pretty much covered everything I had to say from my own, things that I put down. So yeah, we can move on now.
yeah. Let's move on to my section
Yeah,
where yeah, the first thing I wanted to talk about is if you remember, it's been like a month since they mentioned this, but the straw poll that they put up
yeah,
that they still haven't really made a comment about.
Okay.
But I wanted to ask you guys what you think of like the topics that they wanted to cover. Because I was gonna make a video on this on its own, like which are the most important things that we need to know. But then
Obviously, general game details are the most
yeah, of course,
important.
that's the most important, and
But
that's what
the
all
thing
people
is,
seem to think.
yeah, which is good, obviously, that they agree with me on that. But I don't mind seeing the other things. I just don't really see why they were doing a poll when, these are things that it should all, in my opinion at least, be eventually done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
but we're not
Like, I
talking
would
about.
still like to hear about the developers basically and see what they actually do and what they are good at and what they're not so good at, and but it's not something I find very important
Not at
in
this stage, anyway.
comparison to. Yeah, not at this stage, definitely.
I think the least important thing actually is the whole thing with female characters.
Yeah.
Because that should just be something that's like an update later on when the game is actually out, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
I
if you
think,
made a
yeah,
character before,
I think
they.
it should be something that should be in the game, really.
Yeah, but
I mean,
let's say the game comes out and then, like, a year later, they make the female characters, and like in League of Legends, when they split the EU servers, they made it so that if you played on the old EU servers, you could do one free transfer. So if you made a male character in Renegade Line, let's say that full first year,
Yeah.
maybe you can switch to a female character for free if you feel that you want to do
I
that.
think that shouldn't be the case at all. This is a thing I've been saying a lot actually in some of my older videos that are removed right now, but like on my older channel. But I think you shouldn't have the ability to like purchase a character at all. I just think you should have one character available, and that you should be able to change his faction and like gender if that gets added like whenever you want. Kind of like in Call of Duty where it's just like you can make him look like whatever you want basically, and make him whatever gender you want.
Yeah.
Kind of like you should have the freedom basically. It's one character, and you can customize him. You can make presets for how he looks.
Yeah.
And I think there should be one, and I think there should be four tabs basically. One is resident male, resident female, wicked male, wicked female, basically, and you could customize those separately.
Yeah.
Yeah, what were you gonna say, MeanSpeed?
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously, it didn't surprise me that the least popular topic on the poll was information about the dev team.
Yeah.
I mean, although it's nice to get more information and background, it's not really important at this stage. Yeah, that's all I had about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing that I find to be like the most important to consider is the ranking system when you're actually capped, because in BFH there was nothing, and all you really did was keep playing.
Yeah.
Unless you played Clan Wars, which was broken, which a lot of people say they weren't, but they were.
And also
Just
pointless
they were.
for such a casual game. In before the
I
hate.
think
There we go.
I
Yeah.
think we should make a separate video on this too, just ranting about the competitive aspect of Battlefield Heroes.
Yes, we definitely
How
should.
terrible it was.
I
Because many
definitely have a
people
lot
will
for
hate
that.
us for saying that.
Yeah, I played it like 1 or 2 months and then I stopped because it was so shitty. I wanted to play a commando, but they weren't viable because the
It's
game
also
wasn't
weird how
balanced.
people seem to think that because I don't like competitive or like clan play, they also think
You're bad at it.
that I'm saying you're not allowed to enjoy it or play it, which is just
That too.
fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we can lay off that for a separate video.
Yeah. Did you have anything else to say about the poll, or do you have another topic, or?
I have another topic.
Okay.
The next one I had to say, which I think I'm most interested in, not most interested in, but I'm very interested in,
Okay.
is admin options, because I'm obviously going to have my own server, not
Yeah.
too obvious, but I have my own in Battlefield Heroes,
Okay.
because I got so tired of Command Limit, because that was the class I played the most,
Yeah.
and what would you guys say are important options for an admin to put on the server? Like I said before, size of teams.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to switch and
Um,
maybe toggle so that you can have ammo and no ammo, so that dispute would be over.
I
For
think
the
that the ammo and no ammo, like you said, it should only be an unranked though, because
yeah,
I mean you could, yeah, it would like make the game, not that balanced in the leaderboards and stuff. I don't know, yeah. But anyways, I think an admin should have quite a bit of freedom, but not unlimited freedom, where it's like you can just spawn camp everyone and ban everyone who kills you.
no,
But I think you should have like you should be able to automatically kick people for using like an auto admin kick
yeah, I
people
was
for
gonna say that.
using weapons and stuff,
Yeah.
but not in a way where if they kill one person with it, they're out. Basically, it should be like a first I think it should be a kill, one that doesn't actually add to your KD. Then it should be like a kick basically,
Yeah.
and it would keep being a kick for like a day, but it should be like in the rules, and the rules should be made very clear. Like if you tap on the server, it should just have like this big button that just says server info, including all the rules, and you should have to um, the auto admin should basically say these weapons are banned.
Yeah, before
Yeah,
you actually bother to join, because it's a waste of
Yeah,
time to just be kicked out.
yeah,
because you want to upgrade or like use a weapon a lot. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Just I know you're going to say something, Jeppz. I just want to quickly get this in. You said, Cerberus, you said about the whole weapon kicking thing. I don't think that's necessary if Renegade Line can actually balance weapons well, so that people don't complain about something being overpowered or whatever. Because the thing with Easy is
Well,
they didn't test things well enough before
Well, it's not
releasing
so
them.
much a case of being overpowered. It's more a case of like in Battlefield 4, there are pistol only servers, and there are servers that just don't allow shotguns because they would be too powerful in the current map you're playing, stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And not because, I mean, they didn't ban all the primaries because, or all the non sniper rifles because they're overpowered. They just banned them because they wanted to have like a specific kind of way to play
Yeah.
basically. And I think it would allow people to, people that just like playing with pistols and only pistols could have tons of fun with that
yeah.
on pistol only. So it would be a bit more fair, basically.
Yeah.
That's one thing I was gonna say that we should be able to do as admins is toggle ranked game, which is competitive. Not maybe not competitive, but that's where you actually level up and stuff. And unranked, which is where you play but you don't gain any experience.
I
I
loved
think
unranked
there should
servers.
be. I
Yeah,
think there should be like a separate ranked and a separate competitive, maybe
but
if they really plan on, having a competitive version of the game where it's like ranks and stuff. But they should be separate, like a separate game mode from just regular ranked play.
and then there's the third one that I came up with, and that's silly game, which you kind of like. I can't come up with a good name for it, but you kind of touched on it, Cerberus, where you can say that this server only allows people that have dual pistols or stuff like that,
Yeah.
where you just do silly things,
You
basically.
just
Yeah.
servers that aren't basically be as try hard as possible and kill everyone.
Yeah, or maybe
Stick
like
around.
maybe silly game set to nobody can die, so it's a no-kill server, and you just run around and I don't know,
Blow shit up.
yeah, blow shit up,
Yeah.
run around and drive around
Or
and
like
just
stupid stuff like you die in one hit and people just kill each other every second. Bam, you're dead. Bam, you're dead. Bam, you're dead.
yeah, that would be kind of
Everybody would be the tank, obviously, because of the machine gun.
yeah. But yeah, that's all I had to say about the admin options. So, do you have anything to say about the different ranked things I talked about there? MeanSpeed?
No, I think you covered everything pretty nicely.
Yeah. So, other than admin options, I have the progression stuff, which are stuff we've already spoke about a lot, which is
Still really vague. They're still keeping it kind of in the dark with the progression and the leveling and stuff. And
yeah, but things that are important that we want to see, and that's like
yeah,
the way we earn clothing and weapons, because they've said that the only thing you're going to be able to buy with money, real life money, is clothing.
and weapon skins. Yeah, I think it would be cool if like if you would get some kind of, or you could choose like a certain clothing piece if you level up or anything like at higher levels. So there would still be a reason to like level up, but it wouldn't make you overpowered like it did in BFH.
And I think they should have something akin to the Daily Claw, because the Daily Claw was a great addition to Battlefield Heroes.
Yeah.
But
They were
they
just
should
a few
switch
Well,
years late with that.
I think the Daily Claw should not be the same or whatever
Yeah,
they're gonna call
I
it.
was gonna say that.
Oh,
The way it should work there, instead, in my opinion, is that every day you get like a supply drop, and that supply drop can have an item that you can get to have for 1 day or 7 days or forever. And the forever chance is like 1 in 100, so every 100 days, on average, you would get one item forever,
Yeah,
and
so
it's completely
maybe the CS:GO
But
equivalent of getting a knife, for example.
yeah, but if you're like
but free.
if you get an item for 1 day, say,
Yeah.
if you like the item, after you play with it for a while, you have a discount on that item for like 50%.
Okay.
So every
Yeah, that
day
would
you
be
have a
really
discount.
cool actually. I
I
really
think that
like that.
I've heard that one game has that, but I don't remember which. But that's where I got the idea from, so I can't give props.
Oh, okay.
But that's like a really good idea actually, even though it was like in a game before. But the thing is with Battlefield Heroes, because weapons were obviously like different and you had to buy them. But I think they did nicely, even though this isn't going to be in Renegade Line. I think it would be nice if they had just a little bit more weapons that you could use for like 1 day or like a week, and just test it out and see if you like it, and then buy it afterwards. Is if it's worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically like that, like you said, Jeppz, but with clothing or with weapon skins or something.
Yeah, everything. And I think 50% on everything is good for like random stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe you can get like the most expensive item ever for 50% off. That would be kind of swag, but then it would be a
that
very
would
low
be
chance that you get that
yeah,
specific item.
that'd be really rare.
And otherwise, missions, which I've spoken about in other videos.
Yeah.
I personally think that they should work like in Hearthstone, where you get three. You get one a day, but they stockpile so that you can have three at one point.
Okay.
And it's random for which class you get them.
Yeah.
Or rather, you get one per class.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they should
Maybe
be.
one per class and one that's like objective based, so you have five, which is a nicely round number, I think.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
I mean, they should be quite rewarding because in BFH you didn't really get a lot for completing a mission.
I don't think they even put in the experience gain until like the last year.
No, they didn't, and
missions.
they made it exclusive to like weapon specific missions, which were quite grindy for
Yeah.
some weapons that were quite weak. Yeah, it wasn't really very
The
rewarding.
fucking grenades.
Yeah,
Get 100 kills with the shittiest fucking gun in the game.
pretty much.
The grenades were the worst.
Yeah, like get 100 kills with the exploding TNT. Fuck off.
Yeah.
I had like 2 kills in the
As a
entire
gunner.
game.
I think I had 6 on that mission.
Yeah,
I think
so
the most kills I ever got in a match with TNT was 0. I never
Wow.
got any kills with it. I never used it.
yeah, so that they should make them, unique and not just maybe just generic weapon kill ones. I mean, have those as well, but make a few more unique missions, I think, and also make them rewarding, so you actually feel like you want to complete them. So you get
like
something.
you said with,
Yeah,
like we mentioned with the how much experience you gain from like capping the point.
yeah,
It should be a hefty amount of experience and some in-game currency so that you can buy weapons later. And I think that actually I haven't written this as a topic, but I can bring it up now that I've touched on it.
yeah,
Is how much the weapons actually should cost. And I think that once again, like in Hearthstone, it takes you about I'd say 5 days to get a new pack if you do missions.
right.
And like 1 week for getting a weapon, I think would be good, or 2 weeks, something like that. Because then you actually have to play the game to get the reward,
Yeah,
and not just buy it instantly with money like you did in BFH.
yeah.
I don't think they should be too expensive though, because they'll just feel like a ripoff. Like I don't know what would be like if you translate it into, let's translate it into dollars because that's the most universal currency.
Yeah.
What would you make? How much would one weapon skin be worth to you? Like in actual dollars, US dollars.
Good question.
Because I would say about it kind of does depend on the weapon skin, but I would say about 250 at most.
Yeah, and then obviously there would be certain skins that are mm, way more worth. Like
Yeah,
I
I
guess
feel
they're
like
gonna have a gold skin at some point, like the
yeah.
golden
I
guns in
mean,
MeanSpeed.
that's just like a thing you have to do as a shooter. You need golden gun skins, otherwise your game will be a failure for sure.
Yes, obviously. Yeah. It. I don't know. They could also try something like platinum. I mean, I always had an idea that it would be nice to have a weapon that actually like shines and
Yeah,
shows more value to it than just like a, I don't know, quite a bland, like almost. I mean, in BFH, the weapons after during and after the Euro 2012 that took a gold version were pretty terrible. They weren't like the 2010 ones at all, apart from the battle rifles. Um,
right.
quite a weird gold color.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
One more thing about
No, this game.
items like weapons and clothing is I would like to see miscellaneous items, and that's kind of what you talked about with having something that makes your armor shine or something like that.
Yeah,
Some particle effect.
yeah,
That could be one of the things. But what I would like to see is a medal that you get for being or having done something.
yeah.
So it's like on the scoreboard so that other people can see that this guy has done this. Maybe he's reached this rank in ranked mode
Okay.
or competitive or something like that. So
Um,
that you actually
yeah,
show.
Right. Well, of course, it depends on, for me, like the skin price that I was talking about earlier. It really depends on if the skins will be tradable, like they are in Counter Strike, and if they're not, I would be inclined to pay much less for them than if they were, basically.
But I don't mean things that are really uh,
Yeah, I know you
trade.
were talking about something there, but I wasn't really finished with what I was trying to say
Oh,
earlier, so
okay.
I wanted to just finish that for a bit.
Yeah. What do you have to say, MeanSpeed?
um, not much on that topic actually. Um, yeah.
Well,
Are there any topics left, really, or are we done?
Well,
well,
maybe. Sorry.
I have.
Yeah, I was just
Jeppz
gonna
does,
say
I guess.
death animations that you could have that are different.
Right,
Um,
that are
Yeah,
random each
custom
time,
sound
maybe.
effects, stuff like that to your weapons, maybe. That would be
yeah.
interesting.
Custom sound effects would be nice. Like, this is something I just came up with right now. Is if you could tie a little balloon to your weapon, so that
That'd be cool, actually. I'd pay for that.
yeah, have a little balloon so you look a bit more silly.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I have two more
That
topics.
should be for the machine gun. It should be like it's too heavy, so he has to use a balloon to like lift it
Yeah,
up.
it's like an up.
Yeah.
But my two other topics is just little details that you wouldn't really fit into another topic, like flavor of life stuff.
Okay.
And that's one thing that I am very hopeful that we get, and that's a chat service, because there was none in BFH.
Yeah.
You can only communicate with other players through emailing them through the forums,
Yeah.
or you added them on Skype. I would like an in-game chat system,
Or like a
because
friend system, maybe.
yeah, friend system overall. And
Yeah.
once again, these are things that I've said before. Like heroic moments
Yeah.
should be stuff that I think that should be one of the things that you can get a medal or stuff from. Like you get 100 headshots, and then you get a medal showing that yeah, this guy got 100 headshots. It won't be 100, but something like that, maybe 10,000
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
show that I've played this class a lot and I know what I'm doing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And one more thing that we've talked about already is the female characters, switching the crosshair. We've already actually talked about all these things, so...
Oh, okay.
The last one, which I think we're just gonna not talk about here, because we also already said that we're gonna do it in another video, and that's the community.
Yeah.
And the ammo discussion and all that stuff, because...
I mean, the community, just talking about the community, could make this rant twice as long as it is now, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a lot to say.
I do too, and because it's just me and talking about the community, that's like bound to go wrong. And I also have things to do still, and it's pretty late right now. It's
Yeah.
almost 11, so I think we should end it here.
Yeah, we've spoken for like...
We've spoken for over an hour, so that's surely enough content
Yeah, exactly.
for to keep people busy. I've never uploaded a video this long before, and I've never done a Skype call for this long before, so yeah, that's 2 records there. Anything else that we might want to talk about before we finish, or not?
Yeah, Mario Kart is fucking amazing on the Wii U.
Well,
buy a Wii U, everybody. It's the best console.
Okay, there you have it. Thank you for watching, everyone. We'll do another video. I'm not going to say when. I don't want to call it, but we will. We have.
We're probably gonna make another one.
Yeah, we will. We have obviously that community discussion and a few other things that obviously we can't all condense into one video. Otherwise, it would be too long. So, yeah. Hopefully, you enjoyed this.
Would be much appreciated. Would much be appreciated if you subscribe to all of us, because
Yeah,
we're all friends here.
and we're all really cool. And we upload, especially I upload every day, but that's a lie. I only upload once every like 2 months.
Yeah.
My latest video was actually 2 months ago. So
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this will be uploaded to all of our channels.
Yeah.
So if you haven't subscribed to either of us, then that would be good, because obviously now, you know, we're all going to cover Renegade Line. So yeah, I think we are the main source of English Renegade Line coverage.
Coverage.
yeah, I actually searched that on YouTube earlier today, like how many people have made discussion videos about the gameplay, and I found 3, and they were all not in English.
German or Dutch or something like that, yeah.
Polish.
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Polish. Yeah, there's a lot of Poles in the community.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we've covered everything now.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so, yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.
Yeah, see ya.
next time.